Gabe suddenly felt uneasy. "This isn't a setup, is it?" "Nah," Shane said. "I do need your help." "You need my help, Gabe," Maggie said. "A 35-year-old man should be married with a babe in his arms, like my Shane." "I'll just hold one of Shane's kids," Gabe said. "I don't need any help meeting someone. Thanks anyway." She just smiled, making him even more nervous. He whispered in her ear on the way out, "Your pen name might not be so secret if you try to set me up." Maggie merely smiled. "Don't mess with a woman who knows you inside out." He gulped. She did know him well enough to do some serious matchmaking damage, in the nicest possible way. "Bye," Shane said. "Thanks again." "You got it." He waved them off and heard Shane giving his grandmother a stern lecture on putting things out on the internet that could be seen by some as inappropriate, all while holding her arm and guiding her carefully down the icy sidewalk to his minivan. She countered with freedom of artistic expression, which was as much as Gabe heard before they drove off. A bright pink stroller caught his eye, followed quickly by the beautiful woman pushing it right toward him. It was Zoe Davis, the waitress from Garner's Sports Bar and Grill. He was shockingly disappointed to see that stroller. She must already be married with a baby, though he'd never noticed a ring, not that he wanted a girlfriend, and for a damn good reason, but his attraction to her had grown stronger every time he saw her. It was getting to the point where he thought he might have to do something about it. Something temporary, but satisfying. Then she got closer, waving and smiling at him, with her bright brown eyes and cute purple hat on dark brown hair, and he found himself smiling back. She stopped in front of him. "I need a lawyer. The landlord wants to evict me and Fred." He peered through the black mesh covering the front of the stroller and just about choked on his own laughter. "Is this Fred?" "Yes," she frowned. "It's not funny." Why should he ever have a case that wasn't completely absurd? "Hi, Fred," he said. "Arf, arf, arf." Fred was ready to plead his case. Gabe opened the door to his office with a smile. "Come on in." Zoe parked the stroller in the foyer and lifted the hood. Fred leaped out and started running in circles around the small space. She grabbed his squeaky bone toy, hoping to keep him occupied while she filled Gabe in on the problem, but then Gabe snagged the toy right out of her hands and tossed it back toward his office. Fred took off after it, and Gabe gestured for her to follow. "Have a seat," he said, indicating the leather cushioned chair in front of his desk. She sat, unzipped her long down parka, and pulled the lease out of her purse, handing it to Gabe. "It says right here that I can have a small dog." Gabe glanced uneasily over at Fred, who was attempting to hump his rubber toy. "Fred might have put on a few pounds now that he's 1 year old, but he's still a small dog." Fred was a caissant with thick gray and black fur. "Fred, come!" The dog bounded to her side. "Sit." Fred sat, and she pushed down the huge mane of fur around his head to show Gabe. "See? Look how small his head is. He's just fluffy." "Uh-huh," Gabe said. Fred leaped up and put his front paws on her leg, trying to climb into her lap like he did when he was a puppy. She hauled him up and peered around Fred's shoulder. "So, can you help us? I've got 2 months left on my lease, and there's no way I'm getting rid of Fred. My landlord knew very well I had a dog. I've had him for 8 months already." Gabe studied the lease for a few minutes and finally looked up. "How much does he weigh?" "I don't know. I haven't weighed him lately." She stroked Fred's thick mane. "He's just fluffy," she said defensively. "The lease says you can have a dog under 25 pounds. "He was under 25 pounds when I got him." His sharp blue eyes studied her. "Did you piss off the landlord?" "Me?" she huffed. "Why do you think it's me? Maybe John is the one with the problem." Gabe reached across the desk and pulled a folder from Fred's ever-chewing mouth. "You say you've had Fred for 8 months with no problem." "That is correct." "This isn't a courtroom," Gabe said. "Can you rephrase the question?" she asked with a grin. One corner of his mouth lifted in a small smile that revealed a dimple in his stubbled cheek